Vicenza is another one of the great towns of Italy, most famous for the architecture of native son Andrea Palladio, who lived here 500 years ago. But in today's program, we're focusing on the people and the streets of this beautiful city. With a population just over 100,000, it has a small town feeling and a high quality of life. It's a very easy place to visit on a day trip because the old town center is quite small, about 1 square kilometer, with many pedestrian lanes and beautiful historic sites. It is not one of those touristic places. You'll see mostly locals out taking a stroll, furnishing an authentic experience. The town is like an outdoor museum with a large collection of important historic buildings, beautifully preserved, such as this old gateway through the medieval walls. Founded by the Romans over 2,000 years ago, with continuous occupation reaching its artistic peak in the works of Andrea Palladio, especially the Basilica on the main Piazza Signori, surrounded by beautiful cafés. From above, we see Palladio's Basilica with 4 piazzas around it and the main pedestrian street Corso Andrea Palladio just a few blocks away. If you're staying in Venice, you can get to Vicenza in 50 minutes by train, an ideal day trip. Piazza dei Signori is the very center of the old town, so it's a good place to begin our visit with views of Palladio's Basilica, one of Europe's most important buildings of the 16th century. At one end of the piazza, we've got twin monumental columns with a Lion of St. Mark on top of one and Christ the Redeemer on the other. Alongside the Basilica is the Torre Bisara, 82 meters high, one of the tallest buildings in town. We are going to take you on a walk through some of the pedestrian lanes of town, but first, it would be nice to drop anchor and have a spritz. Join the local crowd at the little Piazzetta Andrea Palladio, next to the Basilica. You could easily miss it because it's the smallest of the 4 piazzas that surround the great building, and yet it's one of the coziest and most charming with these arcades and loggia all around. Next to it, also adjacent to the Basilica, which you see towering above on top of those steps, is Piazza delle Erbe, serving up more spritz, that favorite local drink. The Tower of Torment was originally a home for a noble family in the 13th century and then became a prison for torture. Although Palladio called his building a basilica, based on ancient Roman structures, it was not a church. It was used for civic functions like meetings and festivities and judicial proceedings. Today it's famous for the many jewelry stores all around the street-level loggia. The copper vaulted roof resembles the hull of an upended boat. Another fine piazza is on the east end of the Basilica, Piazza delle Beate, with the Baroque Church of Santa Maria dei Servi, its facade influenced by the Venetian style. From the piazza, we're heading north 2 blocks to the main pedestrian street, walking along the lovely Concha Santa Barbara, one of many intriguing side lanes. The main street of town is 700 meters long and lined with shops and cafes, local tailors, designers, big-name brands like Zara and H&M, many of them housed in what had been palaces back in the days of the Renaissance. It's the favorite place for locals to come out for a stroll, especially during the afternoon passeggiata, that fine Italian tradition of people watching and greeting friends. Another favorite Italian tradition is trying to figure out which variety of gelato to order. Or perhaps enjoying a spritz is more to your liking while sitting at a sidewalk cafe and watching the people glide by. This block has the largest palace along the Corso. It's the magnificent Palazzo Trissino Baston, home of that noble family in the 17th century, and more recently, the City Hall. The most spectacular palace along the street is found at the east end. It's called Palazzo Chericati, designed by Palladio in 1550 in that Renaissance style, and completed in the late 17th century. Now it's the Civic Museum with a collection of paintings, prints, drawings, and medieval and modern statues. This same piazza also has another important building designed by Palladio, the Teatro Olimpico. It's a faithful reproduction of the ancient style of Roman theater. Its permanent stage front decorated with statues, columns, triumphal arch, and tricks of illusion. Palladio was 72 when he designed this, which became his final work. He never lived to see it built. The theater is housed in the Palazzo del Territorio, with 19th century statues in the garden done in the ancient Roman style. The Tourist Information Office is also found in this palazzo, a very helpful source of information and tickets. The work of Palladio, based on a detailed study of classical Roman architecture, gives the city its unique appearance. According to a statement by UNESCO, which designated the city of Vicenza as a World Heritage Site because of the works of Palladio. UNESCO says that his work made a decisive influence on the development of architecture, spreading to England, other European countries, and also to North America. He became the inspiration for a movement without parallel in architectural history. As we continue walking along that street that bears his name, let me share some more praise from another important organization. The United States Congress adopted a resolution honoring Andrea Palladio in the year 2010, celebrating the 500th anniversary of his birth, stating the following: Palladio's designs for public works, churches, mansions, and villas rank among the most outstanding architectural achievements of the Italian Renaissance. He has shaped much of the architectural image of Western civilization and served as a primary source for classical design of many buildings in the U.S. from colonial times to the present, including our Capitol building, the White House, and countless architectural works of timeless dignity and beauty. The Congress expresses its gratitude for the enhancement his life and career has bestowed upon the built environment. As UNESCO described it, Vicenza is the city of Palladio. We've just had time to show you a few of his buildings in this program, but there are 23 buildings designed by Palladio in Vicenza and the surrounding area, including some of his villas. And we'll show a couple more of his palaces in town coming up. But there's so much to see that you just might want to stay in Vicenza for a couple of days, rather than visiting it as a day trip, as we've been doing. Posted signs and maps can help steer you to the various sites. And you'll find that there are some fascinating side streets that branch off from the main Corso, like these next couple of streets reserved for pedestrians and leading back to the Piazza dei Signori. Contra is the local word for street. While it's a bonus that Vicenza has such architectural interest and importance, I find the nicest part of being here is just simply walking around, especially on these little side streets. It's very quiet and peaceful here. The cobblestone paving is nice and smooth and comfortable underfoot. The arcade-covered sidewalks are also a delight for the eyes. We are now reaching the end of the pedestrian zone and heading for the cathedral. Checking the map as we go along with a little recap, we've been walking on Corso Palladio, finding the Duomo one block over. The cathedral is the Church of Santa Maria Annunziata and first dates from the early 11th century, although it's been restored numerous times, such as after World War II when it was nearly totally destroyed. Palladio designed the dome. He also designed this palace, which is just across the street from Piazza del Castello. The tall palace in the center was not designed by Palladio, but influenced by his style. It was built in the 17th century as residence for the Piovini family, later divided into separate households and shops. Now it's a department store. One final palace by Palladio. It was supposed to have been much larger, but only 2 bays were ever built. We now reach the fortified gate of Porta Castello, which was part of the medieval wall that went all the way around Vicenza. Back in the 12th and 13th centuries, there were some conflict and alliances between the cities such as Padua, Treviso, and Verona, with the smaller town of Vicenza sometimes caught in the middle, defended by its wall and the fortified Torrione Tower, which is now open as an art museum. And that completes our brief visit to Vicenza. There is more to discover here, so you better go and see it for yourself. This is a beautiful place. It's an easy walk from there, just 500 meters to the train station, which is where I am heading to take my train back to Venice. This has been a day trip. I got to Vicenza in the late morning. Now I'm leaving at 8 p.m. Back to Venice in time for dinner at 9. If you get the semi-express train, it makes only 2 stops on the way and you'll arrive in Venice in 47 minutes. But the local train makes 10 stops along the way and it takes an hour and 20 minutes. So it's wise to plan ahead and get that semi-express. The price is only about €10 and you don't need any seat reservations. Especially when you're traveling in the evening like this, the trains are just not very busy. And you'll soon be back in beautiful Venice. Another excellent day trip from Venice is to Padua, which is actually along the same train line. It's about halfway between Venice and Vicenza. But it's too much to do both of those cities in one day. So it's better to spend 2 separate days, one for each Vicenza and Padua, as we've shown you in another movie in our collection. By now, we are all eager to be home, especially when it's a home or even a hotel in Venice. We frequently upload new movies, so please subscribe to our channel and click that little alarm bell so you'll be notified. And if you enjoyed the movie, how about a thumbs up? And we always welcome comments down below. Or if you have questions about the destination, make note and we'll answer them. Thanks for watching.